I know zombies are overdone. I know they are really overdone in video games. I also know the zombie boom is finally over. So why am I covering Death Road to Canada? Because this game is hilarious, that's why. Strap in, folks, we're in for a road trip. Greetings, everyone. This is the Hipster Snek. Today we'll be taking a look at 2016's Death Road to Canada. What exactly is Death Road to Canada? Well, take one part action RPG, 3 heaping spoonfuls of Oregon Trail, a big scuba delightfully written comedy, and blend it until the consistency is fine. Because it's all of these things and more. Originally made by Rocket Cat Games and Mad Garden for its original PC release, it was subsequently released on mobile platforms by Noodle Cake Studios and on the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One by Ukiyo Publishing. And seriously, I'm really surprised I made it through that without laughing. Seriously, I love Rocket Cat and Noodle Cake as team names, it's just great. Anyway, our journey begins in southern Florida, USA, with a zombie population, evidently undeterred by climate and wildlife, are growing steadily in number and are beginning to pose too great a risk to ignore any further. This forces our characters to leave their homeland for Canada, where apparently the zombie risk is far less in scope. But it won't be easy. You'll constantly fear running out of much-needed supplies in your 2-week-long trip. Wait a second, MapQuest says that's 24 hours, or basically 2 or 3 days drive if you start from the southern tip of the state. Man, the post-Zomzom landscape has not been kind to long-distance travel. Well, that out of the way, let's begin our journey. To begin with, the game looks great. It's settled right in that retro modern game aesthetic with the heavily detailed pixel and sprite work, so I totally dig it. The entire look has this cartoony vibe to it, with the heroes being colorful and exaggerated and the Zomzoms being these goofy-looking monsters just begging for an axe to the temple. Another cool thing is that the game has a character creator, which I took liberal license with in order to make all of my Tomo Bros, and several characters from the Taku's ongoing comic Tomodachi Quest, all of which you can see here. Yeah, I really like character creators, what can I say? Plus, this game has a mode called Familiar Characters Mode, which strongly prioritizes the characters you created. And yes, I do have a storytime segment later in the video, so just hang in there. They're pretty good too, I think. Even with hundreds of zombies on the screen at once, the Steam page claims it can host 500 of them at a time, and trust me, I'm inclined to believe them. And there was never even one moment of stuttering? That's some technical proficiency right there. And the music in this game is a joy. I had not realized the thing that zombie-themed games were missing all this time was 70s and 80s styled surfer rock. The song, also titled Death Road to Canada, which plays on menus and when making your custom characters, is one of my favorite tracks in the entire game, and I could rock out to that all day, every day. Some of my other favorites include Frankenstein Goes to Jamaica, which has a sort of a reggae feel to it, and Luton, which just reinforced how silly everything I was doing in this game actually was. I adore the soundtrack of this game, is what I'm saying. The sound effects are in the same tongue-in-cheek style, very slapstick kind of styling, so everything going on has that same kind of cartoony effect that the graphics are trying to convey. Be it throwing chairs at Zomzoms, punching them in their face, or just setting everything on fire. The core gameplay experience in Death Road to Canada consists of 2 main modes. An Oregon Trail mode, where you're traveling down the road and suffer the whims of an RNG that, in some runs, will just hand you huge perks and benefits, and other times slap you for no reason, but more often than not does a little bit of both at the same time. But equally essential are the scavenger bits, where our detritivorous heroes leap from their car and nab anything not firmly nailed down in order to assist in their trek. You'll always need food and gas to power your characters and cars respectively. You'll also want to keep 3 different flavors of ammo, pistol, rifle, and shotgun, and medical supplies to keep everyone in peak performance. Not just that, but the car itself will break down over time as it suffers damage, and perhaps the whims of a particularly petulant RNG. On top of that, you'll also need to maintain the morale of your 1 to 4 party members lest they suffer mental breakdowns or betray the others. Any number of these things can happen at any time, but so long as even one party member is left standing, the trek to Canada continues unabated. Heck, the game even features a 1 to 4 player local co-op mode, each player controlling someone in the lineup. Not only does this make it much easier, as the AI tends to have a very lemming-like idea about what survival looks like and Evidently, no one told them that killing the Zomzoms doesn't actually get you bonus items. It also makes it something of a party game, with rolls of the dice completely changing the nature of the team and the overall experience in the game. Not only is that great to strategize within what the game hands you in way of supplies, but you can even have hilarious moments wherein, in familiar characters mode for instance, you can end up having some unexpected results by having your friends in the party with you. Not just that, in more recent builds of the game, you can even earn a secondary currency, which you can permanently upgrade character abilities with in order to give yourself an easier time running the game. Even if you lose, and you will, believe me, you'll retain these points which you can spend freely whenever you're on the main menu. The game even gives you a bunch for free just by using some in-game links to see the game dev's Twitter and Facebook pages. Cha-ching! This is how you design a game to be simultaneously incredibly challenging and very fair at the same time. So let's talk about this a little bit more. The game is not exclusively dice rolling. Your characters have stats, many of which will be revealed when they first join your party, and some will only be revealed when the chips are down and they need to make a skill test based on it. And in the character creator, you can give every character a skill set and personality type, both of which will give them bonus stats to start. These talents, or penalties as case may well be, spice up what happens in your game. For example, I gave my own avatar the civilized personality and some automotive skills, making myself the team's de facto mechanic. So I could easily remedy situations where the car was damaged or broke down. Meanwhile, I gave my good buddy Cog the charming personality type, and he was able to easily sweet-talk merchants into giving us freebies when we were at trading outposts. Not just that, the actual combat segments are very generous too. Most characters, with a few exceptions, have 3 HP to their name, but zombies can only actually reduce your HP level if they get a hold of you uninterrupted for several seconds without your being able to break free. This makes it very unlikely that singular Zomzoms will ever pose a meaningful threat to you on your journey, even if you're unarmed. But it will give you pause for thought before you try to handle that huge swarm of them encroaching on you when all you have is a wooden plank that has a nail sticking out of it. The balance between risk and reward is a sweet one, and one of many factors that makes me love playing this game so much. But describing the experience really doesn't do it justice. You're probably watching the footage I've been recording and wondered why not much of what I'm saying is necessarily syncing up to it. Well, that's not me being a lazy, incompetent editor this time. It's actually because so many factors of any given run are utterly randomized. I'd be hard-pressed to accurately predict what will or can happen. Okay, yes, it is a little bit of me being lazy, but even so. Instead, let me regale you, dear viewers, with some stories that came up in my own time playing the game. During one run, I was able to locate Cog and Itaku's characters after mine had died. Sadly, I have yet to have gotten my own corpse to Canada, but hey, maybe one day. And I recruited a few others in the downtime. During a run-in with some bandits, we decided to send a representative to negotiate our way out of this fix. Having the charming personality, we send Cog, just in time for him to betray our group and help the bandits ransack our stuff, which includes our flashlights. Cue the next mission being man down and pitch blackout, and needless to say the sun set on that run both in the literal and the figurative sense. For the time, we recruited the Lone Ranger and Itaku and some characters from Tomodachi Quest, including Master and the Rhyme Wizard, the latter of which has the oblivious personality type and yet somehow is always a beacon of good luck in our party. However, this caused a clash of personality between a ranger and the Rhyme Wizard, the latter of whom was not even aware there was a conflict to begin with. And when we holed up in a cabin for shelter one night, Master was tasked with barricading it shut, and he immediately failed and got the Rhyme Wizard killed and all other standing members wounded for our trouble. Was this deliberate or just incompetence? The world may never know. And the time a ranger, who has the cool under pressure personality, had a wonderful talent for being able to tell people to cool it, which also apparently has become something of a meme within the fandom. During a brush with bandits when it was just my character and his, it actually worked too. I got an achievement for it, as the bandits, upon being told to cool it by my friend, stopped to consider that they had never thought of it that way before, and they just left. Oh yeah, that's a story unto itself. This game is, effectively, a roguelike, where you go until you win. And guess what? I've actually beaten it! Sure, it took me a few tries, but I did, even without the benefit that is special characters mode or any mods. True, at the end I had 2 poorly equipped stragglers, but I made it to the end, and I'll stake my victories where I can take them. Anyway, the sum of my experience is the game is fun, and I found it the most fun when I was running into my Tomo Bros that I took the time out to craft myself. While the other modes like True Random Normal Mode or the weirdly imbalanced Special Characters mode are good fun, I found they took a backseat to the stories my friends and I were crafting each run. And for the completionists out there, there's plenty to be had. There's different various challenge modes to undertake, including some truly horrifically difficult ones for those who have mastered the game's styling. At least 10 of these variations exist, so there's plenty to do here even if you manage to complete a run all the way. So all told, Death Road to Canada is an immensely fun experience that I had a blast playing, oftentimes in more ways than one. The sharp, comedic writing, the goofy interactions, the absurdity of some of the prompts the game has given me, do you want Ditaku to wrestle the moose being kind of an infamous one, are all worth cost of admission, let alone the challenge and tactical decision making you'll need to do in order to have a halfway decent trip. And while it's true, RNG is a factor, but it's less of one than it might first appear. Pick it up for yourself. It's on just about every platform there is, and that's the final word on this bit of N-D-X-Cellence. This has been the Survivor Snek. If you liked today's episode, tap the like button so I know. And if you want more each week, hit the subscribe and bell icons too. Leave a comment down below telling me what your strategy to get to Canada was, and did it work out like you expected? For more like this, you can check out the Tomo Bros Podbean and YouTube, where my closest pals and I who survived the zombocalypse talk anime, movies, and more. Or you can check out our, frankly, impressive collection of social media. Links available in every video, every time. And join me here every week for more obscure reviews, N-D-X-Cellence, and more. And I will see you there.